Go down the rabbit hole. I love me a good conspiracy theory, as we all do. Here
Sure, yeah.
Classholes. But man, these QAnon conspiracy theories are something else. So yeah, like we talked about, Marjorie Green. She's a freshman representative, I believe, from Georgia.
Yeah,
I think she is. And she's a little crazy. You've probably seen pictures of her. She's the one that standing in the house in the House chamber with the Trump 1 mask. Making it real clear her thoughts on things. She's also the one, I believe, who introduced articles of impeachment on Biden on first day. So really getting after it. But they dug into her background, the media, as it were, the MSM, for those of you who believe. The MSM dug into her background and found out that she not only is just a QAnon believer, but she's in deep. You guys ever heard of Frazzledrip?
Sounds like
I have now, and I was okay. Not many things in this modern era wow me. This one gave me the good goose pimples, baby. Yeah. This one wowed the shit out of me.
Initially, I thought it was just VD, but I realized it's a lot more than just.
I thought it was like a modern spinoff of Fraggle Rock, and I was getting very excited. Very, very not that. So in short,
close.
Yeah, it's a little. It's equally weird, I will say, but a little bit opposite end of the spectrum. So just for those who don't know, so Frazzledrip, which is a cornerstone conspiracy in the QAnon umbrella of conspiracy theories, is, I guess, a conspiracy that alleges that what was that dude? It's Anthony Weiner, that guy who showed his wiener to somebody and then got in trouble. Anyway, his wife, whose name I do not know. And Hillary Clinton.
Uma.
There you go.
Abaddon.
Uma and Hillary Clinton, I guess, sodomized, tortured, and ultimately filleted off the face of a young girl. We like face off here. We talk about it all the time. So a face off procedure, Hillary Clinton, Uma, and they wore her face in front of her to scare her, to fill her blood full of that precious adrenochrome, which they feed off of. And then I guess to top it all off, they killed the broad, and then they just sat on the floor and drank her blood and basked in it, as lizard people do. Frazzledrip, guys. Help us.
What's for dinner?
Frazzle. Well done.
Hey, man.
I think, okay. So first of all, yeah, this woman is a state representative, federal. Okay, so she resides out of Capitol Hill for chunks of the year and votes on federal law as a representative for the state. I don't know how many representatives are the great state. Was it the Georgia? Was it the Peach State? Georgia Peach State? Anyway, something like that. Sometimes I want to give voters the benefit of the doubt in the situation, because you might walk into a voting booth, okay, and you might not know anything about the representatives, okay, and you might just look at the R and the D and you go, oh Christ, well, no nothing. I'm just going to go with my my party affiliate. And I'll be honest with you, I've been in a few of these situations where I don't know the people I'm voting on. Christ, I might even peek over the side and see who homeboy on next to me is voting for. I might cheat.
That's a federal offense. I wouldn't admit that on the air.
Whatever. They're looking for me. I'm going to get that vaccine. They're going to find me. Anyway, just like, I feel like this day and age, people ought to know about people who believe in shit like this and are getting elected to Capitol Hill. To steal a line you said a few months back, this isn't your local county comptroller. All right. This isn't, God bless, or God rest Alan Fox's soul. This isn't the town of Perryville's commissioner. Okay, one of two. This isn't a position that gets you free pints of Budweiser at a local VFW. People ought to be a little more in the know of your state representatives, especially when you get some fucking lunatic like this. Baffles me, man. Fucking baffles me. And I'm glad it's only House of Reps. She gets 2 years. Get her the fuck out. I'd rather them believe in Bigfoot than this shit.
Well, I've got 2 points to make on this. Okay, one,
just two, Christ.
Is maybe, well, 2 big ones. One is maybe if the media was a little less busy worrying about like what Trump had for breakfast and whether it was against some sort of native people's culture, they should have been delving a little further into the candidates that were running locally instead of running with national stories. Then on the other side of that is we mock them, but how many Q supporters are there out there? Maybe they were well aware of what she was up to and were like, thank God, one of us. Same thing happened with Trump. Trump was the asshole president. The assholes found their king, and the king reigned supreme for 4 years in America. So look, and I'm not saying that everybody that voted for Trump was a complete asshole, and I'm not saying that everybody that voted for this chick was QAnon, but, she might have just been the Republican, but if sane-minded Republicans, sane-minded conservatives, and I'll say it now, like myself, knew this background story, wouldn't have voted for her. I would have at least left her name blank on the ballot. I wouldn't have given it to the other person, but I definitely wouldn't give it to her. But the media doesn't do its due diligence. I think anybody for running for office should have a podcast. Your campaign should start with a podcast. It's downloadable on the Apple. Damn it, I fucked it up. God damn it.
iTunes, God damn it.
On iTunes and on the Google Play Store. And if you're involved in any way, you should download that. You should have to hear their thoughts on things. I don't know, like fireside chats, like once a week, so you can get to know your candidates. That's the only way we're going to do this. Remember when that Christine O'Donnell chick ran in Delaware and she ended up doing the ad like, I am not a witch. She had to fucking tell people she wasn't a witch.
Which kind of starts to plant a seed of witchery, I think. So,
that's right. Yeah, she says he isn't a witch. I don't know. Maybe she is.
If you have to, openly be like, I'm not a witch, you might be a witch.
Right.
I think. Potentially. I'm just saying.
I feel like this boils down to the he seems like a nice guy from Tommy Boy. It's like, oh, her policy's okay. Like, wait, here's a woman who believes that Hillary Clinton and Anthony Weiner's wife sodomized and faced off a girl while they drank, I don't know, iron from her blood or something, and then
adrenochrome, motherfucker, and you got to get it out through fear. Jesus Christ,
scare the shit out of her so that her endocrine system pumps it full of adrenochrome, and then you drink that shit, you lap it up out of a fucking hamster bottle.
Did they steal this from that new Shining movie? Have you guys seen that with Ewan McGregor? Ewan McGregor plays plays an old Danny Torrance, and basically these people have figured out a way to live forever if they're able to kill people who have powers like Danny Torrance, and they get them all scared and they stab them and they suck their life force out of them. It's kind of like, it almost seems as if they watched a bad movie and they're like, wait a minute, I think I'm onto something. It was Hillary.
I think it's like a mix of that. I was comparing it to 8mm because every article I've read about it was like, yeah, it was just like a fucking torture dungeon, and they fucking beat her with spiked paddles and then filleted her face, and it's always filleted. It's never, I would have loved if somebody was like, somebody faced off her. Now, it's a fucking great use of face off as a verb. Way to go, journalist. But no, filleted was the word that always got used. So
they had a butcher on staff with a really sharp knife. Great.
Yeah, a very specific cutlery for this procedure.
Maybe that guy who stormed
in your secret society.
What's that? Secret society?
When you join a secret society, there's certain levels to those secret societies, and by the time you get to the level that Uma Abedin and Hillary Clinton are in, you have officially learned how to fillet a young child's face and wear their skin as a mask. And, as you know, adrenaline causes your body to perform at its peak. So if you're able to scare all of the adrenaline out of the gland of a young child who is filled with adrenaline, because they haven't used any of it for most of their life yet, then, of course, you can suck the life force into yourself, and much like a vampire, or actually much like Shang Tsung from the Mortal Kombat series, you can start to de-age yourself and invigorate yourself with more power.
That makes sense.
Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. I tell you, if I was another House of Representatives, if I was in the House of Representatives from any other state, doesn't matter, and I knew that this person was voting amongst the 400 plus people in the room, I would sabotage my own political career to constantly mock her, constantly call her names, constantly be like, look, this is what she believes, just so everyone knows, even if it had nothing to do with what I was about to say. Like, yes, Speaker of the House. First of all, I just wanted to remind everyone that this is what she believes. Okay, thank you. Moving on to real business. Because realistically, I mean, she's only, 4 steps from the fucking Oval Office. I mean, I know a lot of House, you move on to the Senate, maybe vice president, et cetera, et cetera. Some of those leapfrog, some of those steps, but she's not that far away, man.
She could request a meeting. Like, I am of sounder mind than this lady, I believe. And I can't be like, hey, Joe, just trying to holler at you for a minute. Can I get 15 minutes on Thursday? Like, I can't do that. She can fucking do that. That's a problem.